And thank you for joining us. Welcome to another edition of the Elvis Nation Show. I am your affable host and three-time Emmy winner, Brent, and we have a great show today. Now, I might not be able to validate that Emmy claim. It might be totally false, but I'll tell you what's not false. That we're going to have a good show. That's a claim you can bank on. And we're going to start off with a brand new limited series segment. This is dealing with the jumpsuits that Elvis Presley wore during the 1970s. And we're going to go month by month. And this presentation was curated by Dylan, who is a friend of this show, part of the Elvis Nation. So I can't wait. Now, before we do dive into that fun, I got to ask you to subscribe, hit that like button, pound that like button, tell your friends about us, share these videos, invite people along. This train is going somewhere. Tickets are free. I got you covered. All right. It is time for our new segment. And this segment is called Jumpsuit Corner. Let's do it. Okay, so Dylan, we're starting this series here, and I'm really excited for this. So we got a lot to cover on this. So we're in 1970, and so tell me what I'm looking at here on this image.
So you are looking at the pearl macrame suit, and Elvis wore this suit a total of 4 times from January to March of 1970. And Elvis first wore the suit on the opening night of his second Las Vegas engagement on January 26, 1970. And this show was famous for having songs such as True Love Travels on a Gravel Road and Kentucky Rain, which, by the way, were only played on that engagement. And they were never played again, like ever. And Elvis last wore the suit on March 1st, 1970, at the 7 p.m. show at the Houston Afternoon.
Wow, and there's something about that picture. Whoever caught that moment on film where he's holding that guitar, there's something just so cool about that look.
So that will be the opening of the show.
Okay.
So Elvis will have just walked out, and he'll either be receiving the guitar from Charlie Hodge, or he'll be giving the guitar to Charlie Hodge to do the next song without the guitar, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to move on to the next image. What do we got here, Dylan?
So here we got the blue tapestry. And Elvis wore the suit a total of 4 times in February of 1970. He first wore the suit in Vegas on February 1st, 1970. And he last wore it on February 28th, 1970 at the 2 p.m. show in the Houston Astrodome. And the 3 out of the 4 times he wore it with black boots and once with white boots, which I think is pretty cool, because Elvis would wear blue suits with white boots most of the time, unless it's like the Owl, which we'll be covering in a future episode. But yeah, I think he looked good in the black boots. How about you?
Oh yeah, well, first of all, whenever you put blue and white together, those are like complementary colors. And what look at, if you notice, like in the first picture with the him holding the microphone like that, you have to have a very look how slender. There's not even a minor bulge there in his waist line. I mean, just a total slenderized look. That's him at like top form, and the shoulders wide and all that. It just looks like that's a period where he's just 100% in control of what he's doing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And he was 35 years old, and he was at a peak. Like he was at the top of his game at that point.
Definitely. Okay, now Dylan, this is interesting. It's like white and green. What are we looking at here?
So we're looking at the white and green tapestry, and Elvis first wore he wore it a total of 2 times, February to March of 70. The first time he wore it was on February 27th at the 7:45 show at the Houston Astrodome, and the last time he wore the suit was also at the Houston Astrodome, but it was March 1st, 1970, in the 2 p.m. show.
Okay, now Dylan, we're in this next one. We're seeing a very different change in direction from the look. Tell me about this.
So this is the white fleet tapestry, and Elvis wore this a total of 8 times from 1970 all the way up to 1971. And Elvis first wore this suit in Las Vegas on February 3rd, 1970, and he last wore it in Lake Tahoe on August 1st, 1971.
Now, this gets really wild here. This is the fringe suit?
Yeah, this is the fringe, and he wore this a total of 13 times from 1970 to 1971. Yeah, so the first time he wore it was the opening night to his third Las Vegas engagement, which was August 10th of 70. And it was last worn on July 24th, 1971 in Lake Tahoe. Now, if you've seen That's the Way It Is, the film, what the concert footage starts off with Elvis performing That's Alright, and he's in this suit when he's singing that song. So I guess that's why people know it so well.
Oh, wow. Okay, now we're shifting looks again. Now, what's this I'm looking at, Dylan?
So this is the Concho suit. He wore it a total of 8 times from 1970 to 1972. Elvis first wore this suit on August 11th, 1970 at the 8 p.m. show in Las Vegas, and last wore this suit on the February 4th, 1972 midnight show in Las Vegas. And this suit was most famous for making multiple appearances in the 1970 documentary That's the Way It Is. Now, the reason why I'm chuckling is because we've got a picture of Elvis in the suit, and I believe it's from is it 71, 72? It's round about that time. And Elvis is in the suit, he's got a red scarf and he's got a monkey mask. Now, why he's got a monkey mask on? You're probably thinking, why has he got a monkey mask on? I will explain. So when Elvis would do his What's Up and Feeling, he would turn his back to the crowd. And at this point in time, he's already got the mask on. so no one knows he's got the mask on. And then he turns around and Elvis is in the concho with a monkey mask. And people are like, oh wow, this man has lost his mind. This man has officially lost his mind. But yeah, it's a beautiful suit. And this is actually my mum's favourite, actually.
Oh,
She
really?
loves this suit. Yeah.
And just when you think you have Elvis pegged, all of a sudden there's a new rollout here, and this is wild. So what is this known as, Dylan?
So this is a chain suit. And Elvis wore it a total of 13 times over the span of August and November. So Elvis really liked this suit. And Elvis first wore this suit at the midnight show on August 11th, 1970 in Las Vegas, Nevada. And he last wore it on tour in San Diego, California on November 15th, 70. And this suit is most famous for being in the 70 documentary That's the Way It Is. Now, this suit is also known for being worn with 3 different belts.
The red belt stands out, and I like the contrast because you got the red and white going on. To me, that stands out the most, the red belt.
Yeah, I like that belt. Now,
but look, you know what, Dylan? What's hitting me? Look at the picture with him with the white belt.
Yeah.
And look at his hair, and I'm not by any means a fashionista or stylist. I don't know, but he has to have his hair like that, because if he had his greaseback 1962 movie look or something, it wouldn't fit the suit. He has the perfect hair for that suit.
Now I mentioned the hair. Now Elvis was sweating in this image because what you gotta think is at that picture that was taken, he'd already done maybe 40 to 50 minutes already on stage. So Elvis was just sweating a lot. But that's what added to it, you know what I mean? It makes it more iconic, if that kind of makes sense.
Oh, definitely. Oh, no doubt about it. Okay, so now we're moving on to a whole different look, kind of a red and white scheme here. So what am I looking at, Dylan?
So this is the ladder suit. And Elvis actually only wore this twice, over the span of August and November of 1970. And Elvis first wore this suit at the dinner show on August 13th, 1970 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Now, this show was most famous for being the final show recorded for That's the Way It Is. So after this show, the cameras were turned off. So this was the last show that was filmed. And it was famous because it had songs such as Stranger in the Crowd, Made the World Go Away, and The Set, which are 2 great songs.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, but...
And he wore it for the final time in... Wait, am I pronouncing it right? Is it Daly City or Daly City in California? Is it Daly City or
How's it
Daly
spelled?
City? Daly.
Daly City.
Daly City. Daly City, California on November 13th, 1970. That was the last time it was won.
Wow. Now, did Elvis have control? Like, was he like, I'm done with this, or did anyone have any control over that, or was this all Elvis's purview?
This was just what Elvis was feeling at the time.
Okay.
So if he liked the suit, he would get some really good wear out of it. Really good wear out of it.
Okay, so now we're shifting colors here, big time. What's up with this one, Dylan?
So this is the black and gold tapestry, and actually, he only ever wore this once throughout his whole career. He only wore it one time. But what makes this one suit rarer than all the others is that he was actually supposed to wear it during the January-February season. So you know the blue suit that we covered a few jumps back. It was supposed to be in that season, but Elvis didn't wear it in that season. He actually wore it in the August season, and he wore it on the dinner show on August 19th, 1970 in Las Vegas. Now, there's only one photo of the suit, but there's no picture of Elvis like in it. But we only know he wore this suit. We only know he wore this suit at the August 19th show because the audience, the audience that were in attendance said that he wore a black suit.
I think because people aren't used to that in him, I would like to see a picture of him in it to kind of get a better perspective. Do you know what I mean? And I think I would be very curious to see how that would have shown up on film had they done any footage with him in that. Yeah, it is kind of wild. But you know what? I kind of like the not that they're going for that look, but when you think of the black infused with the yellow up there, it kind of hints like jungle or like ferocity or something.
Yeah. Now see, you talk about jungle. The show that Elvis wore that suit, he opened up with a song called Tiger Man. So we reacted to it. Yep. Yeah, so it's kind of weird that how you said that like the suit is kind of like a jungle theme in Elvis opened up with Tiger Man, which is really kind of cool. And I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the jungle theme because it just looks the same to me. But I guess to other eyes it just
to somewhat of a similar underlying design, but there are some differences here. So what is this one known as, Dylan?
So this is the I Got Lucky suit, and Elvis wore this total of 3 times in the span of September and November of 1970. Now this suit was worn, the first time it was worn, it was during the afternoon show on September 13th, 1970 in Tampa, Florida. This suit was last worn during the afternoon show on November 14th, 1970 in Inglewood. And this suit's called I Got Lucky suit.
Man, and what a miraculous pose there. I mean, it almost seems like, any other person could get in that same position, hold the microphone the same way, but they're not going to shine the way he makes it shine. That never ceases to amaze me about Elvis.
I know, yeah. And he wore it with 2 belts. So the first time he wore it with the white original belt, and then the second time he wore it with the red belt.
Yeah, I'm red belt on that because there's a little more contrast there. There's not enough contrast with the white belt. I think the red it stands out more. It's perfectly lined up in the way with the scarf. It just totally works.
Yeah.
Now this next design, Dylan, look, I mean, this is wild. This is totally wild. What is this?
So this is the Cape fringe, and now because of how long and wild it is, he only wore it once, which was at the evening show, November 14th, 1970 in Inglewood, California. Now Elvis only wore his suit once, as I said, and now I don't know if people will find this funny. I don't know if people will find this as funny as I do, but he had to get cut out of the suit by scissors because the fringes were just kept getting caught in the microphone call, and Elvis was going like, "Oh, so like they're gonna have to cut me out with this thing," and that's what he did. He actually didn't have to cut him out with the scissors. So you can imagine just Elvis soaked in sweat backstage, having just done a show, and they're like, "Right, come on, let's get him out of it." And it's just like 10 guys with pairs of scissors just cutting away through the suit, like, oh god.
But I'm telling you what, though, that shot of him, though, he's in flight, okay, and he's like a phoenix bird or something. I mean, that is wild.
Yeah. Now the thing about this is that he had literally an identical suit made, but it had short fringes, and it was worn in 1971. So you'll be hearing more about that suit in detail in the next installment.
Oh wow! I'm going to tell you what. First of all, this is like a whole different dimension that we're covering here. You know, I was even telling Leon about that, how we're finding out new areas of interest, and I'm so glad that, because you know what? I think some people go, okay, these are jumpsuits, but when you go into the deeper look into them, you just start really seeing the craftsmanship and just how photogenic Elvis was. Not everybody could pull that off. Some people would look hideous in those jumpsuits. Elvis made it cool, and I can't wait till you return next week. And I want to thank you so much. But actually, before I let you go, you actually have an announcement to make, so I'll give you the floor.
Right. So, these notes that I've just read off here, I will be signing these, and one lucky winner will be able to get one of this, and I'll send it to you. And also, the lovely Leslie Pillen is going to throw in a panel board of a jumpsuit of your choice. So what Brent's going to do is Brent's going to put the names of all the people that watch this episode into a hat, and then the next episode is going to pull out a name, and whoever the name that gets pulled out gets a signed copy of my notes and a panel board from Leslie Pillen of a suit of their choice.
And just so everybody know, I'm not going to participate. That would be so unfair. Oh, gee, I just happened to win. How did that happen? Wink, wink. No, to avoid any kind of corruption, as much as I would like to win. But no, and I encourage everybody to, because I think, Dylan, what you mentioned in the teaser trailer, what I really want to hear is conversation from other people. And so, watch these. I want to hear from you guys on the comment section, because this is, to me, fascinating. I mean, this is like a whole different dimension.
Now, what I will do is I'm gonna do a live signing for you right now. So whoever wins will get to see me sign it right now. So if you just give me 1 second. So I'm just going to mute myself 1 second. I'm holding you and whispering things soft and low, and think of me. So we are doing a live. So not only have we just done Jumpsuit Corner, but you guys at home get to see me do a live signing of the notes. So you actually get to see me sign. So whoever gets to win the notes, I'll be doing a live signing for you right now.
That'll be awesome. Yep. So I'm telling you what, get in on that. Now, in order to register for the contest, they just need to have shown up on the comment section. Okay. And now here's the thing, though. The loser gets a copy of my credit card statement and has to pay it. So this is not something you want. I'll sign the credit card statement for you and send it. That, for some reason, that's not as appealing, Dylan, as what you guys got going on. But first of all, I think this is great. I think it's a great way. Oh, look at that.
There you have it. There's the signature right there. If you can see it, I don't know whether it will show up, but it's there, right at the bottom.
I think it's just great. So we're gonna have Dylan back next week, and I want to thank Dylan so much. And we will see you next week, sir.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Okay, some great stuff there. Dylan will be back next week. So I do have a link to his Facebook page down in the description portion of this video. Now we're going to dive in to some lounge activity. That is the Leon Lounge. Let's go. We're going to seg into the whole fun in Acapulco. Just finished reacting to it. One of the first things that got me about the first song, I had to stop. First of all, I love the song. It was bouncy. It was fun. It felt like Hollywood, but good Hollywood. Almost like it could have been a musical or something.
Acapulco, sleeping in the bay. Acapulco.
Yeah.
Then I see on the screen technical advisor Colonel Tom Parker. What the hell is he advising on? Acapulco? He's an Acapulco expert. Could he even get into Mexico?
Every single movie. I'll tell you the sort of thing that Colonel Parker
I never
did.
noticed it when watching other ones.
So Elvis's 1961 movie Blue Hawaii, right? So that'll be another great soundtrack that we'll do. Elvis did something. There's a certain etiquette on set in movies. The only person that's supposed to say cut, stop, is the director. So they're doing a location shooting scene, and Colonel Parker's at the back, and he sees that Elvis is wearing a watch, his own watch, and it's in his contract that Elvis should be using none of his own stuff. And Colonel Parker shouts, "Cut, cut, cut," and jumps in front and tells Elvis to move. Now that's the director's job and nobody else's.
Right.
Now that's the sort of thing that Colonel Parker would do in the movies. Now that's a bit as much as his technical. I think it's just a case of he wanted some sort of credit on screen.
Well, of course it was, because I'm thinking technical advisor. He doesn't know crap about movies. Okay, he doesn't have a film background. He certainly had no background in Acapulco culture or folklore. So I'm thinking, what in the hell? And I even said that during my, if you've seen the video already, you'll notice I even said, like, what exactly is he doing on this set? Like, what, and back then it was like that. You could just be a friend who happened to attend a party. If you're tight with someone, you get executive producer credit or something. And it was like one of those things. But I just found that just so, like, what, you're just standing around throwing your weight around and watching out for your boy. That's about it.
That's exactly right. It's not a bad soundtrack, is it?
No. Okay, first of all, man, I got to tell you, because for those of you out there, with now what we're doing, I don't talk to Leon about what I felt about a presentation until we film this. So Leon up until now had no idea what I thought about this. First of all, I had an epiphany during this. Because me, one of my big bugaboos is saying, after Elvis went in the army, it was all downhill. And okay, you know what? A collective FU to those people to get that out of the way.
We'll leave that to John Lennon.
That's right. But I'm going to tell you what. When you say that, okay, now some of his movies were formulaic, Hollywood, assembly line rollout, okay?
Yeah.
I want people to push that notion aside. There were still some amazing freaking songs. And I think the reason why people act like they weren't great is because actually those songs were almost like Broadway musical kind of songs that belonged on that kind of world than that on the pop charts. Okay, because you could have made a stage spectacle out of this. The music was perfect, and it wasn't exploiting any kind of South American kind of sounds, that whether they come from Mexico or anywhere else. It was very beautifully done. I don't want to hear any cultural appropriation crap, because I felt as if it was a true appreciation for that musical art form. There was something dynamic in all that. I would say the only song that didn't quite move me was that felt like it was just thrown in, was that rumba in the sports car.
This was gonna be the night tonight. I was gonna get to hold you tight, but I guess we didn't plan it right. never stood a chance. We could.
I mean, I thought that was cute. It was fun. Some fun lyrics about being twisted into a pretzel or whatever. But other than that, I thought there were some moments that were truly moving that I said, this is just great. But I could see why a lot of these wouldn't be pop songs. They would be like almost as if Sondheim would have written them for a musical about Mexico. That's how great some of them sounded.
You see, this is the problem where critics don't get it, don't get the problem, don't get. Fun in Acapulco was released as a soundtrack album. And some of the songs in it, as you already said, should be taken purely in the context of the movie and nothing else. So a song like There's No Room to Rumba in a Sports Car, the only place that song should ever be is in the movie and on the soundtrack album. No, it should never be on any other compilation or any other album. That's the only place it should be, because then it's in its proper context. There are some songs within Elvis's movie soundtrack catalogue where, as a standalone song, it either sounds horrible, it doesn't make any sense, but in the context of the movie,
yes,
and where it's placed, it makes perfect sense. And people have to get away from Elvis's body of work as a serious recording artist to something which is recorded specifically for insertion into a movie.
Yes. Yeah, because I'm going to tell you what, you're right.
To me, that distinction.
Yes, and I'll tell you why. The song Mexico. Okay.
Yeah.
If you go back to my video and watch, I'm saying during this, I go, okay, some of you might get this, some of you might not. But this sounds like this could have been an outtake from a Disney animated feature.
And to kiss a lovely senorita, go to the samba, bamba. I'll go where you go.
Beautiful songs that they come up with this, where it would almost been like Elvis could have been voicing a character and singing for that movie. So like when Robin Williams sings for Aladdin, You'll Never Have a Friend Like Me, that's not meant to be a mainstream pop hit, but it's one hell of a good soundtrack song. And it complements the picture. And I felt like with that Mexico song, there was almost like that. It had that whimsicalness of like a Disney kind of song. I said, if you didn't know, if Elvis didn't sing this, it would have been an outtake from the Three Caballeros or something like that. And then especially like there's the middle parts where we get into like El Toro and Margarita. I was so enamored with them because, first of all, they put really a lot of work into the strings, into the mariachi sounds. There is such a feel of authenticity within those songs. I said, I have no problem if it's a Hollywood-ish soundtrack, as long as it's good Hollywood-ish soundtrack.
Yeah. The only commercial track in the entire soundtrack is Bossa Nova Baby.
Yeah.
It's the only, and it's no surprise that it was the single that emerged from the movie. I have a real affection for Margarita. I think Elvis's vocal is tremendous in it.
Margarita.
And I think it's very cleverly done as well. The only criticism, or not criticism, the only quip I had in that is when I mentioned that, isn't it funny how you've got this band playing and Elvis can still be heard singing above it with no microphone. But that's more to do with the way the movie's shot than anything else. But you mentioned El Toro. El Toro's quite a clever. The lyrics are quite clever in El Toro.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's still a song about a bull. That I think that's the. But I've often watched Fun in Acapulco, and I've seen that scene, and I'm going, how would the audience react to? Remember, in the plot of the movie. Right, and I'm not spoiling anything because you see this bit in the clip that he's filling in for somebody else
who's
in that.
sick, and
and then he comes on and he starts singing about First of all, a bullfighter who's so transfixed on revenge on a bull, and I'm thinking to myself, I wonder how that audience who'd get paid into that nightclub would really react to that.
There's a legend of a famous matador who went to meet El Toro, though he fought as he had never done before. He could not beat El Toro.
But I think, isn't that the charm of that in a weird way? Yeah, I loved it. I loved it because, there's that bullfighter was, or the lady was, I'm getting tongue-tied, but I thought there was just some, and I got to go back. There was a moment in, I believe it was Vino, Dinero y Amor, the second one, and where there's a part where he's just like making eyes with her out in the audience, where he's in that like cantina. And it just hit me how expressive of an actor he was. Like I said, had he just been some guy who was a rock and roll with a couple hits, if he just didn't fit that, they wouldn't have made any more movies with him after Love Me Tender. He really had something. There was even a couple parts where I think it was one part where I actually turned the volume down in my review after the reaction. And I said, just watch him. Watch him move around, his eyes and all that. And I believe it was, not sure which one it was, but it was one of them where I go, he's just moving. And I said, there's so much expression. But then, of course, with Bossa Nova Baby, there was just some awesome choreography there, how he kind of moved and then went back to the organ and then moved again. I go, first of all, you got to have that in you, okay? Because I can't even move my microphone and set everything up right without screwing up something, okay, when I'm about to record. And here he just does this like it's just nothing. And the only one I recorded, I actually did in my early incarnation, I did 𝐓𝑔𝐿𝑎 one, so that didn't come as a surprise. But I remember I heard some new things about it that I really liked. I think there was just, first of all, the gracefulness of his voice and how it flowed and how he was able to incorporate. So a lot of people have very different, have a lot of challenges trying to sing with some parts of another language or in the style of another dialect singing. Yeah. And I'm telling you what, had you just told someone this was not Elvis, this is a guy from Mexico singing part of this, they would have said, well, how amazing.
Yeah.
Guadalajara, Guadalajara. Guadalajara, Guadalajara. Tienes el alma deep freshana, hueles a limpia rosa temprana.
It's a great way to end the movie as well, with Elvis actually singing the entire song in Spanish, having the movie set in Acapulco, and then having the whole film in English, and then Elvis finishing the song in Spanish. I think that's quite nice. Actually, quite a nice touch. Actually, to be honest, I think that's quite a nice touch. But of course, there is some Spanish in Vino de Amor, like you said.
Yeah.
There is some Spanish in that. But I think the Mellow Men deserve a wee bit of credit as well for the way that they're singing with Elvis there. I think they deserve, because they could have used the Jordanaires, but with it being set in Mexico, they used the Mellow Men. The Jordanaires were there as well, obviously at the session as well. But I think that was quite a nice touch to actually bring that in. And it's all what the movie did as well. It gave the songwriters a chance to at least to try and do something different.
Yes.
And they did bring that. They could have just inserted 60s pop songs into it, and it just happened to be set in Mexico.
See, that's what I like about the direction they went with it, though, because I felt there was a respect for that musical style. Yeah, they weren't just trying to like parody it or something like that. Mm-hmm. And that's what I really wanted to also have pointed out, because first of all, I already like those kind of sounds to begin with. I always like mariachi music. I like a lot of South American music. And I like how they infused it and they kept it still very Elvis, but yet totally respectful to the musical form. And I was actually surprised, that it was as good as it was.
It's a very listenable soundtrack.
Yes.
It's a soundtrack you could put on your system and just let run. It really is. It's not, and it flows well together as well. And because there's that common theme of the Latin theme running through it, it flows very well.
Yeah, yeah. I do think it is kind of funny because like now this might be for some people who are just trying to understand culture at various times, but during the late 50s, early 60s, there was a largely a fluency that ran through at least America. I'm not sure if in like in the UK or anything like that. But so it was popular to go into all these like exotic locations, and like that part where he's like, it's fiesta or siesta during the day, fiesta at night. And I even said that is such through the eyes of a tourist, though. Do you know what I mean? Because Mexico, as we all know, have had hardships and all that, you know, but the tourist eyes. So it was very culturally from the idealized version of what an America would see at the nicest parts of Mexico. You know, like it's all like you go to Jamaica, it's all one big party, you know, unless you live there or something, you know. But just loved it. I just, you know what, I loved it a lot more than I even thought I would. I even lowered the bar at the beginning, going, and I want to tell people also that one of the other observations I remember making throughout the presentation is that this is a whole different view of Elvis. Like when I think of what we did the week prior, I go, it's like going into a whole different world, a whole different feel, because the eras of Elvis Presley are so distinct and so different that you could go and listen to a soundtrack and then go and listen to like First Take to Master of a 70s song. You're in two totally different worlds. I love that effect, man.
But although I think the biggest thing we have with the soundtrack sessions is the copyright problems that they have. But yeah, I think that's it's all that hard work, and then you have to wait weeks for.
This happened with Jailhouse Rock. We had to kind of throw something. It's like we're cooks in a kitchen. Listen, this meal won't go. Okay, we'll see what we can whip up real quick for you. The next soundtrack one that I was thinking of doing was Viva Las Vegas, and I'm going the same things. I know the same things. Well, you know what you got to do? Give it to me ahead of time, like 2 weeks or 3 weeks before you want to do it, and that way I'll have it already loaded up and it'll have gone through the bots and it will be ready. We just can't do it like, hi, I'm emailing it to you this week, have it ready for Sunday. Those kinds we just got to accept from now on. The soundtrack things we're going to have to do an advance notice and plan things out, because they're tough. Because, and you know what I figured what it was? I remember when we did Spin Out, I did something experimental, which I hated having to do it. But when I put up the whole thing at first, it blocked it. But then I cut it up because I go, how does Leon get it all through? Because he has it on individual videos. They just get a bugaboo when you put it all together. However, when I put Spin Out all together and let it sit through its copyright trial run there, and where I disputed it, then it was finally okay. And I put out a message, hey guys, now you can see it the way it was meant to be seen. So
did you not see a common theme through this? It's MGM.
Of course. Yeah.
Now, what I will do is we will have to do Elvis's final movie at some point, Change of Habit, where the music is incredible. Now, the problem that I have is that, much in the same way as we did It's Only Love, is that I can't get any of those videos up. However, you might be able to do it the way we did It's Only Love.
Yeah, I think what I could try to do, and it works most of the time, but sometimes it doesn't. If I react to the whole thing, put it up there like 3 weeks before we'd plan on even running it, because it takes 28 days that you get for them to dispute your claim, or to them to go against your dispute. 90% of the time they'll end up just letting it go once they see that's a reaction. It's not trying to, you're not trying to claim ownership. Every now and then it won't, but I would say with this kind of stuff, 99%, because look at it, they end up letting it go through after a week with Jailhouse Rock. They did the same with Spin Out, and they're going to do the same with this one. So now it's really weird though, because Love Me Tender, I have a copy and I upload it just to see what would happen. And it was fine. I had to go and file a dispute just for the copyright thing, but it didn't block it. So I'm wondering, was that under a different studio or something? Or why would they let that go up?
20th Century Fox. 20th Century Fox. Okay. So, So Elvis did 4 studios through his movie career. 20th Century Fox would have done half a dozen movies with. MGM would have done the majority of the movies. We've done about 6 with Paramount, which was included. Fun in Acapulco was one of those. And then you have the very last one, Change of Habit, which was Universal. And that was only the film we did with Universal, and that was part of the 68 special, part of the deal for the 60. Oh, and National General Pictures as well, which he did Charo with. That was
you're right though about the context what you said earlier, because this just hit me. A few weeks ago we talked back and I said, okay, Leon, there are some people that just do not watch these things. They're all about the single reactions. I go, would that be cool if I took one of these and put it under single reaction, just introduce, hi, we did this on a special a couple months ago, blah, blah, blah.
Which I think
this would be perfect for that. Like maybe a few months from now, I'll go, hi, this is, from this movie, and you release it as like well, people do that all the time. They release singles off of albums. That's the way I would look at it. And then I'd put a link for those of you who want to see the real special. Because I'm thinking if they see the reaction just for one of those songs, they might want to go and watch the whole video after that. So I'm thinking about making some single reactions out of some of the stuff we've done, and then putting a link saying, okay, I would come into an introduction like, hi, we did this about 5 months ago. This is a single from that presentation. If you want to catch the whole presentation, we got a link for it down there. Highly encourage you to check it out. But this is a single from that presentation, because I have this thing where I want to get more people who are hesitant to get into our things. We're not brainiacs here. I think some people see this as like an intellectual chess thing or something. I go, it's really not. I mean, we're just two guys. And I think if you give it a chance, you will like it. I think some people get turned off by a long title or playing the same song over again. And I go, that's the great thing with Elvis. When you hear the live comparison series, you're not hearing the same song over again. You're hearing so many stark differences between these songs. And that's what I think people don't get either. That, like, let's say I'm going to hear it from the Boston show. Then next day I listen to it from Vegas or something. You're like, okay, this is great. You're not going to put those together, the differences, as much as when you hear them all laid out. All of a sudden, this light bulb comes up over the head going, oh my God, this has so many different aspects to it, so many different nuances. That's why I think it's important to hear all those together. It's not, and it doesn't feel repetitive to me. It's like, no, I get more engrossed because near the end, I forget what I'm doing. I'm like, oh wait, I'm recording. I better hit stop. I am so in that world.
Well, see, that was the reason. The very first take to the master I ever sent you, if you remember, was Anything That's Part of You, and that was the one that you mentioned earlier on, where you thought the first take was as good as it was going to get. And I deliberately sent you that one first because almost every take in that's a complete take. There's very few false starts in that, and there's not a lot of studio chatter in that. So I thought to myself, right, if he does that and he likes that, then everything after that I send him will be like gold, because he's getting stuff in the other ones that he's not getting in that, because that's just like almost like pure Elvis after Elvis. That one could be seen as repetitive. So that was a tester to the start with, and then you just embraced that, and I went, right, so we're on here.
I know, man, I know, and I'm telling you what, I think, there are so many firsts on this channel, and for some people who've not made their way over to us, I mean, that's fine. I'd love to have them come along eventually. But I think when all is said and done, when I draw my last breath, I want to say that hopefully I did something to increase Elvis awareness, if not for the next generation. And that's why I like talking with Dylan about, because I just said, oh my gosh, you're like the future of this. Like, if I do this if I live to 75, I only have 25 years of this, man. It's not, I'm not like Obi-Wan Kenobi or something waiting for a young Jedi to train or something. And it's exciting stuff. It's exciting. I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world. And thank you so much for joining us, Leon. We look forward to seeing you. Go check out Leon's channel for all kinds of playlists. Is there anything new going on with your channel that you want to talk about?
Just that we're getting the first take to the Masters, a couple of first take to the Masters coming up, which will be worth listening to, and the next live comparison that's coming up is a 50 set. The first real I know I did 𝘓𝘪𝘥𝘦 𝘔𝘪𝘥𝘦𝘰𝐴, but the one that's coming up is a real dinger. So it's worth looking out for.
And I will say also, subscribe to Leon's channel so that way you'll be updated when he uploads. But if you also miss something in YouTube, go to his Facebook group site, because he's always putting updates there on stuff he's just uploaded. And it's called
the
Facebook group.
That's my Facebook page. Yeah. My Facebook group's called I Just Can't
Help Believing, named after the song.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will put a link to the Facebook group there as well. It's awesome because Leon is always saying, hey, I just uploaded this. You won't miss a thing. And also for me to everybody out there, go and support the efforts that Leon puts out there and stuff, because I don't think people realize it. I'll close with this. Like on Fun with Acapulco, you're doing stuff like placing remastered audio over the movie clips and stuff. I mean, that there's such work that goes into that, and we have so much respect for you for doing that, and I want to thank you for all the work that you do.
Pleasure.
All right, we'll catch you next time, Leon. Okay, thank you very much, Leon. Anybody fancy a go at the Wonder Wheel? Let's do it. And welcome to the Elvis Nation Show Wonder Wheel. This is how it works. If you have left a comment on the previous episode, your name is automatically placed on the Wonder Wheel for the next episode. I spin the wheel, and whoever's name lands gets a free Elvis song reaction of their choice that will air within 1 or 2 to 3 days after they win. Now, the winner must visit the comment section of this episode and list 1 request and 2 alternates in case I've already reacted to 1 or 2 of them. Good luck, everybody. Karen, your time has come, my friend. Just leave your selections in the comments section and we'll be rolling. Thank you for playing, everybody. And congratulations. I'm telling you what, this is bittersweet because I've had such a fun time interviewing Michelle, aka Elvis Lass, and tonight is the 3rd and final portion of the time we had spent together, and she has a permanent pass to ever come back again. The invitation is open, and it was such a joy talking with her. So without further ado, part 3 of the fan files with Elvis Lass, aka Michelle. I'm not sure if I get that right. Is it Elvis Lass first, Michelle, then Elvis Lass? Either way, she is amazing. All right, enjoy. And I don't have any other artist that I do that with where I could take the same song and just go over it and play it again. I need to hear it again.
Yeah, big time. I'm like that with It's Over. And I've been a fan since I was born. I can't remember a time I wasn't a fan. And I still do that with It's Over. If I watch it, you know I'm going to play it 6, 7 times. It's the close-ups in 𝘓𝘓. And he has a side profile. Mm-hmm. And it just blows me away, the side profile. But there's another thing on YouTube where he's had different angles of 𝘓𝘓. It's amazing. I was watching it the other night. And you get to see the side profile, which we all know of 𝘓𝘓 with It's Over. But he then has the camera of Elvis front on. So you can see, because there's a certain eye thing that Elvis does in It's Over. He does like a question and stare like that. And I'm always in love with it. I just think it's the best look I've ever seen in my life. Well, this guy, you see him, the stare front on. So you see Elvis's stare front on and it looks different. It looks like, it's like it was another world for me. It's been up for years, but when I watch it, I was watching it the other day, but the 50th time I've watched it over the years, I was like you, I was watching it continuous, and I was watching the side profile, then putting it back to watch the face on, and how the look changes. Mm-hmm. Sounding a bit geekish there. That's the only thing I geek over, is that kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
But check that out, because it's like a multiple angle of 𝘓𝘓. Mm-hmm. And so you get to see different versions of the angles. It's so good, so good. It's fab.
I know. Do you ever we're kind of around the same age. Have you had that notion at all? Like, God, can't I have been born at a different time so I could have witnessed a lot of? I mean,
Yeah.
the fact that I'll never see him live I just.
Heartbreaking.
It's not the same thing seeing a recording, and I just I felt like I missed a piece of history with that one, and there's no going back to it. You can't. But with the footage that I was telling Leon the other day that when we were going into the That's the Way It Is rehearsals, if they knew how much Elvis would be revered and stuff, they would have filmed so much more behind the scenes stuff.
Well, do you know, Keith, I was listening to 𝐿𝐼𝐼𝐼 talking on YouTube somewhere, and he was saying he's the photographer for Elvis in the 70s. He was just a guy with a normal camera, mind, and he just took pictures of him and then started to take more, and he's got some of the best pictures of Elvis I've ever seen. Well, anyway, he said in this interview, I wished I had went to the hotels more and took the candids. He went, because that's what people want to see. And on reflection, he was taking them and waiting and getting them as he's going into the lift and taking them on stage. But he just wished he had waited a little bit longer at certain bits, because that's what people are wanting now. They're wanting the candids of Elvis. They just want more and more and more of Elvis.
Well, I think it's because there are a lot of people that, artists that have left an indelible mark with their music. Elvis is one of those people that left a mark with his music, but also left his mark as a person.
For sure.
And, like, he was human like anyone else. He had his flaws and all that, but yet there was something about him that it's almost intoxicating, his personality, pleasantly intoxicating, that you could be mesmerized by him in all of that. And it has that, because you know what? If they just said, we've uncovered a canister of film that has 18 hours of clips of him eating lunch, you best believe I'll watch every freaking minute of that.
For sure. When I seen him, and That's the Way It Is, eating the burger and drinking the Coke from the glass bottle, I nearly fainted. I was one of the most exciting times of my life to see him eating a burger and using a glass bottle. It was just exciting to me.
Yeah, like even like little nuances, like when we were doing the live presentation stuff and of Elvis covering his Vegas 1970 stuff, and he's talking about his Gatorade that he has on stage and stuff like that. It's priceless. I would have loved to have seen. It would have been cool. And I know it's like fantasy talk and all that, but I would have loved to have seen like them fitting like the different jumpsuits on him, like, trying it on and seeing we need to make adjustments, like the behind the legend kind of stuff. Yeah. I could have just endless. Maybe one day if we, if heaven's real or whatever, we could go there and we can go in time travel, because I have a few concerts I really want to see. And now about his movies, you were talking about that earlier. What would you say would be 3 Elvis movies that would you say would be the best or the most closest to your heart? The fictional ones.
So that's different. Closest to my heart are completely different to the ones I would show someone off the street. Mm-hmm. So if someone was out there and they were saying, show me an Elvis movie, I would show them King Creole, Jailhouse Rock, Wild in the Country. That's what I'd show them. But if it's closest to my heart, it's going to be 1,000,000% Girl Happy, Live a Little, Love a Little, Spin Out, Clam Bake, love Clam Bake. So that I've went off into 4. And also Flaming Stars, a new favourite of mine. And I've seen it a billion times, but I'm starting to really go back to Flaming Star a little bit. But yeah, so there's a difference for me.
It is, because like there are movies that you could say these are great from a scholarly approach, like Citizen Kane, Casablanca, and all that. What's a movie you really like, though, that's just about you? It doesn't have to meet any criteria. It just connects with you. It makes you feel pleasurable when you're watching it, happy when you're watching it. And yeah, I think that's really interesting. Now, what I ask everybody this, Michelle, has there ever been an Elvis song that you thought, okay, it's good the first time you heard it? Yeah, I like it. But then, like, after you listen to it a few times, you're like, this has gone from good to amazing. Like, it just grew and grew. Have you ever had one of those songs?
Gosh, that's a tough one. I don't think so.
No.
I honestly, there's never been one that started off. Because I do have my least favorite Elvis songs, and they've never really ever taken off in my brain that I love them. So that's a different thing altogether. There's none that I don't like. Obviously, I love every Elvis song that's ever been made. But for example, "Welcome to My World," I'm not mega on that one, and my husband can't understand it and thinks I'm absolutely crazy. But it's something I don't go back to. So maybe I'll go back to that, because maybe there's a world for me to go back into that.
Yet there's another Elvis fan in the Bahamas who thinks that's the best thing he's ever put out. That's the diversity of Elvis taste that's out there, you know?
Well, do you know what? I can tell you that about the movies. That question you've asked me then. My least favourite movie used to be Paradise of 𝘓𝘓. It wasn't my favourite. I'd watched it a million times, of course, but it wasn't my favourite. Now, I can't get enough of Paradise of 𝘓𝘓. I absolutely love it. I love Elvis's Rick. Oh my goodness. And so that's grown on me. I've discovered more. And when I was doing my 𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿𝐿 trailer, that's my least favourite at the moment. So I was thinking, do you know, I might go back into that, because that might become my best in the future. So I think it evolves. Things evolve.
It does. It does. I'm finding that even as I'm listening to some of the Elvis stuff I've already covered before, how some things got me the first time, but even get me more the other times around. But yet, I said this to someone. They said, someone said, "Are you just a sellout? Because you just seem to like every Elvis song and no one likes every." I go, dude, if I didn't like a certain song, I wouldn't upload it. Because why am I gonna? I go, yes, there are some I love a lot more than others, but Elvis's worst song is still better than someone else's best song.
Yes, that's my whole feeling entirely.
That's what I go by. And you know what I try to do also, Michelle, is I try to make it about positivity. Because if I hear an Elvis song that isn't obviously in the pantheon of his best work, I'm still going to find one or two things about it that I really like. Like, oh my God, there's a great bass happening here. And that's what I want to focus on. But I've never disliked one.
Yeah.
It would take a lot for me to dislike one. I've had a couple that were like, okay. And then, like I said, though, there's sometimes when you have a first listen, people don't understand that you're on camera. You still have 10 things going on in your head besides listening to it, because is this recording? Am I looking stupid? Am I drooling right now? Kind of stuff. So there have been some songs where it's like, okay, this didn't really start setting in until the third or fourth listen.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing about the Elvis universe, though, is that I don't think your education's ever done, because if you're even feeling things all this time later.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And I just think now, and a lot of people aren't up for hindsight Elvis things, but what I would have loved for Elvis to have done is in the late 70s, early 80s, had he been with us still. I really think, like how Kris Kristofferson was in A Star Is Born or something, I think Elvis could have done some serious, like, rich movie roles that weren't designed with campy scripts. He could have really branched out, and I just got that feeling. I don't know. You can't argue about hindsight, but I would have loved to have seen that, though.
Me too. I truly believe Elvis had a great affinity for acting. I mean, this guy started acting with no training. I mean, he's just going in as a rock and roller. And I tell you, if you go back to the 50s and 60s and some of the rock and rollers that are in movies, they're not half as good as Elvis is. I mean, carrying a picture. I was watching, it's the new thing on Netflix, and they were talking about movies, and they said that they had another actor as Michael J. Fox for Back to the Future. Mm-hmm. And it was another actor. He had played the role for about 8 weeks.
Eric Stoltz, yeah.
And they said, it's making it too serious. Oh no, we need to change him. So they changed him. And they originally wanted Michael J. Fox, but he was on that show, wasn't he, on a kids show? So they couldn't get him. And that made me think, so a person can make a movie. It can change the whole aspect of a movie. And if you think about Elvis movies, they're fun, they're frivolous, they're beautiful, they make you happy. And that is because Elvis is that person. He's carrying that whole movie. So his acting was there. There was something there that could carry a movie in Hollywood and could actually make people smile. And 44 years later, this year, you can still watch Double Trouble and still smile.
You're exactly right about that, because I'll tell you what, you hit something very, wow. Okay. Now you take Ricky Nelson. Okay. He had matinee idols looks. He was talented. But if you ever watched, he was so boring to look at. Like, he always looked bored. Maybe that was just his expression. Even when he sang, he looked kind of bored. He would stare blankly at the screen. Having looks and a voice is not enough. You got to have that X Factor charisma thing. And Elvis had that in droves. That's why I think if you were to put a fly-by-night rock star in any of those Elvis movies instead of Elvis, they would not be looked at today.
Big time, big time. And you know, I always sit and say this as well. If anyone comes at me and says Elvis isn't a good actor, I always send them to Old MacDonald, which I know everyone's thinking, why would you do that? And I say, because that man physically hated that song. He hated it with a passion. And he said, why am I doing this? Make him physically ill. You'll never see that in Old MacDonald. Old MacDonald, he is having the best time of his life. He's wonderful. He's happy. He sings when the duck looks over and goes quack, quack, quack. And he looks tremendously happy. And there's your answer. There's the best answer, the best actor in the world for me. Because he's showing that you can act through it. And you stay professional, you stay the course, you do your job. And I think Elvis was wonderful. So yeah, I think he was a way better actor than people let on, because if you have to act through that absolute dire stuff that they've given him, then what better actor is there?
That just says it right there. I mean, when you have someone who has that, like, have you ever been in a room before? And they don't even have to be like physically attractive or something, but there's just like something about that person. Like, you can see the way the people are reacting to that person. And they might not even have what you call all the aesthetics or anything into place. Elvis did have that. Like, I remember my dad once telling me, like, when he sang Are You Lonesome Tonight, he said Elvis could set a mood like nobody else.
For sure.
And that's a lot to be able to set a mood. Now, you could be talented and all that, but to set a mood is a very different thing. And when I listen to some of these songs where his voice just goes all over the place, okay, you and I talk on an even keel, but what if you were to talk like Elvis, saying, hi, how are you doing that? You couldn't bounce and ping around like that with your voice. How many people could?
That's true.
And there's so the one thing I see as a downside of people reacting to Elvis out there, excluding yourself and me, is that sometimes they're only glossing over like the ones that everyone else is reacting to. It seems like it's always In the Ghetto or a couple of other ones. And I want them to dig deeper, because I think there's a lot to be had there. You have this treasure trove of greatness. And I know to some of them, they're not wanting to really explore the further reaches of the Elvis continuum. But I think they would be robbing themselves some, because I'm telling you what, I very rarely just react to a song that's a hit. I know I'm going to have to do it eventually, because I get people asking me all the time, when are you going to do Love Me Tender, the normal song? I'm like, I've heard it on the radio about 10 million times. So I will eventually get to it. But believe it or not, 99% of Michelle, what people ask tend to be stuff that's not hits. It's stuff off the beaten path that people like. And it's just exciting. And I think you and I are so lucky to be able to be in this world with this kind of technological age at our disposal to just get an extension of ourselves and our appreciation to Elvis out there,
I agree. And you opening up the world to a whole community of people. I started my channel originally because I'd moved away from Scotland and I was on my own, and I only had me and my mum. And so it opens up a community. So now I feel like I've got so many Elvis friends online, and it's just been wonderful. But for example, Leslie Pillen, who comments on things, Leslie and me have become great friends, and we're meeting up in November. We're going off to a little cabin thing together, me, her, and another 3 of her friends. And I'm just so mega excited. I just can't wait.
Oh, that's awesome.
Do you want to go to Denmark next year with us? We're going to Randers, the Graceland Randers. And I said, oh my goodness, yes, I would. And so it's little things like that you'd never think would happen in your life, that you'd meet friends and make real friends. It's just wonderful.
Well,
and I know we have the same subscribers, don't we? Similar, like Karen, Susie Q, just people that are just epic people, aren't they?
well, yeah, it's funny. You're right, because I've gone on to like other reactors, because I like to hear them talk about Elvis, and I see a lot of the familiar faces on their comment section. I'm going, wow, these people are hitting all the stops. They're going to every Elvis thing that pops up, and how sweet that is. And Leslie actually sent something to my email. I didn't realize what a brilliant writer. I mean,
she did this. Here. Well, she did this, first of all. That's hers.
Oh, really?
She created that. So that's, she does bejeweled creations. So I asked for the peacock suit, and then she bejeweled it.
Oh my God, that is awesome.
Isn't it beautiful? But she also writes stories. So this is her short story, for example. It's called 42, a short story to commemorate. And oh my goodness, it just blew me away. So if you think her email was amazing, this and all her other short stories, they're just epic. She's got a talent and a half.
That's why, like, a couple of people, when I pitched the idea of having a discussion with Elvis fans, I go, I just don't want to talk to people who could sit there and ramble off dates and recording info. I already have a Leon, you know what I mean?
You don't need anyone else.
I want to, Leon's the walking encyclopedia. I said, I want to get people who just are like someone you can hang out with at a store or something and get in a conversation with, because what we're doing is we're getting a lot of the Elvis history down. I'm going to be reacting to a lot of interviews from associated people with Elvis, James Burton, all that kind of stuff. But I want to get people's records of who love Elvis and their story, because you learn something about them. You learn something about, I want to get that on record, because no one ever tries to document the experience of the listener.
Honestly, I think it's a wonderful idea. I loved Mark, and I listened to every single word you and Mark were talking about. I absolutely loved it. Even the college football, which I had no idea what you were talking about, and his 24-hour marathon. I was thinking I need to go on his show just to watch it, because I didn't even know.
I don't know how he does that. I mean,
how's he going to do that?
He's so full of energy, and but I'm telling you what, he like I said, he reached out one day and said, hey, I really like your show. And I clicked on it and I found out about his show. We started getting talk. I appeared on his show one time.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And it was kind of interesting because, we both have mutual interests in that way. And you couldn't ask for a nicer person. He's a decent guy. And I kind of live for this because I don't have anyone around me who's into this kind of stuff. I have like one Elvis friend kind of, and that's about it. And I said, gosh, and it seems like all of you are from like the UK or Europe. So I gotta make my way over and visit everyone. But then again, people said, oh, Brent, we'd love to have you and stuff. And I don't know, though. There's an old saying, don't meet your favorite media personalities, because you might be disappointed when they... Because they expect you to be you that they see on camera, and I'd probably be like, But I think with Elvis people it's different though, because there's a commonality there. There's already something we could dive into and talk about.
If there's nothing to do or nothing to say, there's an uncomfortable silence. Let's just bring in Elvis. It'll be fine.
I know. You could sit there and have that like long pause and go, so girl happy, and then all of a sudden it picks up, like it's just like you'll just start taking off like that. And speaking of one of the titles that you mentioned, Live a Little, Love a Little, that was a really interesting presentation, because a couple of those songs on there just still stick with me, like Edge of Reality.
Stunning.
I mean, that just gets me. I had Alexa play it a few times the other day. And
itself the whole way through.
Alexa, stop. See, she picked up my title when I said that. No, I haven't got... Leon sent me the movie, but I'm trying to wait till I can get clearance to react to it, so...
Right, because there's an actual thing. You'll have to come back to me and let me know what you think, because the scene Edge of Reality comes from something quite intensely silly. a silly moment in Live a Little, Love a
Yeah,
Little.
he mentioned in his commentary something about a dog.
Yes, it might make you cringe a little bit at the start, but after you watch it a lot of times, you discover it's just absolutely adorable. But yeah, there could be a little bit of cringeworthiness to it.
But that song though is another one of those where one of my biggest I call them bitch rants that I have on this show is there are so many songs I've reacted to that it's almost like had any other artist recorded that same song in that same way, it would have been a hit.
I know, it's like a Bond song, isn't it?
Yeah.
James Bond.
Yeah. And it's like, if any other, it's almost like, were record companies working against him back then? Or was it the public? Because some of these are amazing songs that are better than a lot of other people's songs of that time period.
Big time. My husband always makes me watch as well, because you see he does the leg thing from the 50s in Edge of Reality.
Yeah.
He does the leg thing, and it's like an edge back to this 50s vibe. So I always watch, I just love that part.
That's weird that you mentioned that, because if you go to my video where Leon and I did that, if you look in the comment sections, Mark, whom I just interviewed last time, he comments on that. He said that nice little 50s throwback there. And
it's lovely. He's lovely.
Yeah, and I think another thing that we did that we're going to have to do more often, it seems like a lot of people reacted to the live presentation we had that Sunday, and they really react to that well. And so we might have to do more of those, because it's kind of good to hang out with people, and it's a little different live than watching a video of someone.
Yeah. Well, I've never been able to do live because I'm on my blooming phone and I'm not technical. It kept saying to me, you can't do live until you've had 1,000 subscribers. And then when I got 1,000, it wouldn't let me go live. There was some issue. And then it said that I could go live, and I only found that out on the 16th of August. And by that point, I was a little bit frightened again to go live. So I need to work up the courage to do it. But yeah, it's been in my mind for ages. It's just YouTube hasn't been allowing it. But now they are. But
well, I the videos I watch of yours, I go down to the comment list, and it must really be awesome to hear so many adoring people that just love what you're doing. And does sometimes that help power you through to, like, if you ever question, what am I doing here? Or, like, what am I doing this for? And
I do questions like that when someone says you're talking absolute BS. I've had that a few times. So that always makes you go, am I actually? And then Daddy will be like, well, yeah, you do talk a bit. And I'm like, oh, shush.
Well, first of all, the thing is, that's what I think you're doing, though, is you're doing that friend hangout. This is not like, you're not doing a show.
Yes.
It's almost like as if this is what you would be talking to someone in your room about, but the camera just happens to be rolling.
That's what I want to try and do. It's just a daily dose of Elvis, 4 or 5 minutes. I don't want it any longer than that, because it's just that daily dose, and we're just having a brief look. I'm not going in depth on it, because there's channels like yourselves with Leon. You guys are for that, and all power to you. I love it. And for me, I come on it and I get loads more knowledge and more in-depth stuff, and I love that. But for me, it's just that daily dose. It's that little sprinkling.
Well, actually, they say complexity is found through simplicity, and it feels very simple. Like sometimes I even asked Leon once, I said, sometimes we're just getting really heavy with this stuff, aren't we? Like that's why sometimes I go back and forth between that and just reaction videos, because reaction's more like the candy part of it, where the stuff I do with Leon is the meat and potatoes kind of thing.
That's what Di calls my channel. He said I'm the candy. I am just sweet and candy. That's it for my channel. That's what he calls it.
That it is, though, because you know what? I'm telling you what. When your videos are being watched, it feels as if, how do I explain? Okay, like let's say Leon and I are doing some dive into something about Elvis. As good as it might be and as interesting it might be, it could be heavy for some people. Okay?
Yeah.
Yours, I feel like it's just that sublime takeaway from real life for a few minutes. You go to that nice place. It's honest. It's sweet, but sweet without being cheesy. There's a difference. It's sweet without being cheesy. And because some people can't balance that. You balance that real well. Some people would make it too much gooey gumdrops or something, but yours is like that right thing. And it's a very nice place to go to. It's sort of like you could feel the blood pressure crawling down, you know,
Yeah.
as you're just watching it, because
That says a lot about me and what I'm needing in my life. Maybe there's a whole thing there that's what I'm needing.
well,
And
you
that's
know,
why-
you know what it is. Yeah, they once said a lot of people sit there and produce something to bring a lot of love out to other people, but at the same time, those creators are trying to bring love to themselves. And I think so, because think about, okay, and I can only say this with authority because I know what it's like to be a caregiver, you know, so I'm not coming from I really get it more than you could ever realize through hospice, through the whole rung, everything, is that life is hard enough on its own, but you have this whole other layer of stuff that not only one, you love someone you love is going through something, but something else of the situation about it, especially with dementia, it has a way of sucking the life force out of you.
Big time.
And I think that's what a good thing for you to do this channel, because I think it's helping you as much as it is getting it out to them.
I think so. It's an amazing. It's been cathartic, and meeting people and having that little bit of a community which takes you out of your head, so you're then talking to other people, and it's nice. Do you know, like I met a friend, I don't know if you know Anne Y. Such a poet. She is just, and she's helped me through some, when my mum, she had to go in, she had skin cancer on her face just 2 weeks ago, but it's slow growing, there's nothing to panic about, and there's no further treatment. But you think, gosh, she's got dementia, is that not enough? You need to give her this. But anyway, I reached out to Anne, talking to her, and she just sent me some amazing words, and I just thought, you're a woman I've met through YouTube, through my Elvis channel, and you're giving me nice little bit of solace tonight, and it's been lovely. So it's not just making the videos, it's the things, the people that you find from making the video, and that encourages, like you said earlier, does that encourage you to keep going? Yeah, it kind of does, because you're like, oh, I want to get that picture for Karen, because I know Karen loves the fringe suit. So you then, oh no, she loves the chain suit, sorry. So then I'm like, oh, I need to go find a chain suit picture for Karen. So then you're keeping going because of the people that you're meeting. And that's amazing.
Telling you what, of all things, I can't believe I didn't mention this during my interview with Mark. There would be no Elvis Nation if it weren't for Mark, believe it or not, because he and I would kind of talk back and forth every now and then. He's so busy, I'm so busy. So we're like those ships that pass every now and then. And I talked to him once a few months ago, probably actually before this year. And I said, you know, Mark, I'm not in this to get hits or anything, but I'm not going to lie. It feels disconcerting that I'm like killing myself here trying to put out stuff, and I get 300 people at the most watching the video, where some other person who's not even really into Elvis does one song and they get 8.5 thousand hits, 97,000 hits. What am I doing wrong? And I said, maybe it's time for me just to realize that I'm not charismatic. I don't have that gift that they have. Why am I not attracting people the way they are? Is there something wrong with me? And he went and talked me through some things, and I'm like, thank you, Mark. I needed to hear that. Because it's hard when you're just at it yourself. You don't know really. Yeah. Because I'm thinking, okay, well, a lot of these people, they like Elvis no matter what. So if any idiot was to stand up there and talk about it, do they? But it would be really disconcerting to me, because, you know, I've seen a couple of people, that's all they do is look at the Elvis video, go, oh, that's cool, that's dope, and then 97,000 hits.
I know. I've seen it.
And I'm like, what in the hell am I doing that? I mean, I've never pretended I was a matinee idol, and I don't think it's about my age or anything.
No.
I just don't know what that was. But Mark, thank God I have those Elvis encouragers, like Leon too, was a big person, because I get real analytical about things sometimes. Like, if I don't get a good number on it, it's not because I want to make money, because a lot of these videos I don't make a dime off of, but I want to know it's hitting the target. I want to know people are enjoying it. And I have no other measuring stick to do that. And Leon is good at talking me down from that kind of stuff, because I can get very pessimistic about it. I must have said I'm quitting doing reaction videos about 50 times now. Like, I'm done. I'm done. And then next week, then when I'm recording again, it's exciting.
The magic's there.
Yeah. And I think sometimes we do that just to decompress. Like, I don't need this anymore. I just need quiet and serenity. And that lasts for about a day.
I know. Maybe the only thing is a good thing to remember is you're not alone. With so many who create, I've had the exact same feelings, and I'm very analytical as well. So I'm very much inside my head, and questioning, should I be doing this? It's a reaction, and it's silly. And so then, and if I've went a wee bit crazy on my reaction where I've been a bit dancey, I've like this then, I can't watch myself. I just can't watch it back. So I'll never watch this. Never, Brent. I'll leave a comment and I'll watch it for as long as the time to give you your view, but I will never watch it because I can't bear myself. So it's incredible why we do it.
Oh, I never watch myself, only when I'm editing. After that, I never watch it again.
I'm off. Oh, me too. I was on a channel, a live channel, the Elvis the Ultimate Fan channel. If you ever catch, it's a brilliant channel. He does a live twice a week. And he encouraged me like you, come on to the channel, come on and phone. So I phoned. Oh my goodness, I've never been able to listen to it back. And my husband plays it sometimes. And I'll hear my voice and I'll run out the room. I'll say, please put it off, put it off. I just can't bear it. Oh no, I don't know what that's all about. But I guess it's just us being analytical about ourselves.
Well, I'm telling you what, I actually hate looking at me, because I mean, over the years I've gotten a little heavier, and stuff like that. And I'm like, I got to just frame this in the right way so I look at my most flattering pose. I'm not.
Exactly. I said to Di, I said, what about if when he's recording the live and he gets me the editing part, the face I hate? And he was like, oh, shush. Because there's a side I don't like. I just hate this side of my face, so I always have to be this side. Mm-hmm. It's strange what we do, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, because I spend so much time adjusting the camera, and I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna show my beer belly or whatever. And and I actually could. It's really weird because I have confidence in so many areas, but like, sometimes I don't want to ever watch it, even when I edit, because I hate it. Because sometimes I'll look at it and go, no, this is I just don't look right for this. I got to stop doing this. This is so not me. And then I'm like, okay, but obviously everybody else is okay with it. So this is maybe my problem.
Yes, but you're not alone. So never think you are, because I think it's a common thing with so many people. It was definitely with me anyway. I'm feeling exactly the same.
Want to thank you so much. I know this wasn't your natural go-to thing, and you don't know how much this means to me, because you're a creator whom I've respected for a while, and this was just really so cool and so refreshing. And you're always welcome on here. Don't be a stranger. And you have a good one, okay, Michelle?
I really, really appreciate it. And as you know, I love your channel. I love Leon. And I hope you go from strength to strength, because you really deserve it. You deserve the big things. What was it someone said on your channel the other day? You're going to soar. That's what they said.
Hey, you know what? Believe it or not, I'm already soaring. I'm doing what I love. If only 5 people show up, I would still be doing it. I love this. Love it, love it, love it. And it is that time once again where we enjoy some reaction time. Continuing our presentation into Elvis and Me, that 1988 opus, depending upon your point of view. It has some cool stuff, some cheesy stuff. It's altogether Elvis. That's all we care about. So here we go with part 3, Elvis and Me. Enjoy.
Got my coat. I almost got my tie, too. The only thing that gets me through all this, honey. You coming to Graceland? Graceland at Christmas.
But Christmas is months away. I can't wait that long. I'm going to call my dad and tell him that I love you and I'm not coming back.
Oh, we have to be patient, Scylla. Oh, we've got all this to look forward to.
He still wants some of his freedom.
The night that we make love all the way for the first time. Yeah, all the waiting's just gonna make it that much better. Let's go catch some acts. All right, let's go backstage and meet some people. The Ink Spots, Fats Domino. I'm gonna show you off. All right. Here. Just take one of these. All right. Here, it'll make you feel great. Come on, baby.
We had 2 weeks. We slept during the day and we played through the night. Amphetamines and sleeping pills. I was escaping from reality and into Elvis's world. How could I ever go back to the normal life of a teenager again?
Did you see her yet, Paul?
Not yet.
Honey, now she promised me when she comes home she's really going to buckle down and work.
I got an idea. Suppose we took the whole family to Spain for a couple of weeks. Then when school starts, she'll be ready.
Yes. Priscilla? Hi.
What have you done to yourself?
What? Your hair and that dress.
You make me ashamed. You look like trash, painted up like a streetwalker. This is the end of it. I don't want to hear the name Elvis Presley again.
I'm going to Graceland for Christmas.
You're staying home with your family for Christmas.
You can't stop me.
Oh, yeah, kiddo? You just watch me.
I'm going, with or without your permission. Elvis means more to me than you do. Oh, Stella.
Nothing you can do is going to stop me from going to Graceland. Nothing.
And we pause for this commercial break.
Honey, let me in. I only want to talk to you. Honey? Oh, Scylla. This can't go on. You haven't eaten. You haven't been out of this room in 3 days. They're calling me from your school. I'm at the end of my rope. I don't know what to do.
It only means 2 weeks over the Christmas holidays. That's all I'm asking.
Why you? Why can't he leave you alone and find someone his own age? I wasn't born yesterday, Scylla.
It's not what you think. Elvis respects me. I'm so unhappy. If you'd let me go, I'd be different. I'd work hard. I'd study. I'd do anything.
Honey, we just don't want you to be hurt. I would never forgive myself. You're just too young.
Too young?
Yes.
I can't believe you really said that. You were 15 when you fell in love with my real father.
That's different. And I don't want to talk about it.
But it's true. You told me. He was your first love. You snuck out of the house in your mother's high heels. Was that a mistake? If that was a mistake, then I'm a mistake, too.
Oh, Scylla, don't, please.
If you don't understand what I'm going through, then nobody will. Please, Mother. You're the only one who can help me.
Now it looks like Mom came through, huh?
Here she is. Here's Priscilla.
Merry Christmas. I want you to meet my wife, Joni.
It is so nice to meet you. You too.
Hey, Silla! Hey, welcome to Graceland. Hey, this is my brother's baby.
Hi, I'm Patsy. Elvis and me are double first cousins. Oh, he said you were a pretty little thing, and you sure are.
Hey, you remember my wife, Dee? We're married now.
Hi, so nice to see you again. Hi.
Merry Christmas, Dee. Merry Christmas.
So many people here.
Somebody special's been waiting for you. Hey, Dodger. Look who's here. Look who's come to be with little us.
Oh, goodness gracious, child. Took you long enough to get here.
You look wonderful. Your hair.
Oh, thank you. I had it colored up a little bit. There's enough gray in this world. Did he? Don't do that. He didn't do nothing to you. Pain and grief?
You'd probably just like some time alone with Elvis, huh?
Good night, Eve, Priscilla. Happy holidays. Good night. Good night. Good night. Good night, Eve. Good night, man.
So different from what I expected. Where are the windows?
The TV's my window. So. You want a sleeping pill? Relax you after your long trip.
I don't need it.
Come on, make you sleep better. Prescribed by a doctor. You're completely safe. There you go.
How do I swallow these?
It's easy. Just like this. Want to take a hot bath?
Elvis. Elvis. didn't realize then how complex it all was. His fear of insomnia was so intense that sleeping pills had become a part of his life. That meant he had to take different pills to wake up. It was an endless cycle.
Hey, honey. Wake up, baby. It's time for breakfast. Hey. Hey. Hey, son. Baby? Get Daddy up here. Hurry! Now!
Why didn't somebody call a doctor?
Hell, Mama, I didn't know there was anything wrong up here. I just didn't want to bother anybody.
Priscilla, honey, it's Grandma. Now, you all right? What did you give her?
I gave her 2 250-milligram Placidel's. They shouldn't have hurt her.
You got no business giving this child something she is not used to.
Elvis knows about pills, Mama. He wouldn't give her nothing to hurt her.
Too many people taking pills around here, and doctors giving pills, people borrowing pills. You hide away up here day on end, Elvis. Nobody even dare bother you.
Scylla, baby, can you hear me? Scylla. Scylla, can you hear me?
What am I doing here?
I had us all scared to death. You passed out for 2 days.
What's today?
So, December 23rd.
You mean I lost 2 days?
Oh. We've got plenty of time. I promise, baby, I'll make it up to you.
This one's from me. I hope you like it.
He's spending more on telephone calls to Priscilla than I make in a year.
Elvis is sending us 2 first-class tickets to go to Memphis. And that way we can check out the living arrangements in the school.
Last night, when Mr. Presley called and woke us all up, I told him exactly what he could do with his first-class tickets.
It's a Catholic girls' school, first rate. And I'd be living there with Elvis's father and his wife.
We're not sending our daughter to Memphis so Loverboy can get his kicks.
It's not like that. You won't even listen.
My daughter is not a toy!
My daughter? How can you say that? You can't stop me from doing anything. You're not even my real father. Priscilla.
You wait one damn minute. I want to talk to you. Open the door, Priscilla.
I'm never going to open it. Never. I'm not going back to that school, and I'm not coming out of here ever again.
We'll see about that.
Oh, please, please, please. Oh, no. Look what we're doing. Bob, we're driving her away. Bob, she's in love. I've seen what anger and bitterness can do to a family. Just breaks it apart. I don't want that to happen to her.
you understand? She will destroy herself to prove a point.
I don't know if you can hear me. Maybe I'm not your real father, but I am your father. I love you, and I care about you. And I don't want you to throw your life away. He wants you now. You're young and you're innocent. What happens after he gets you? Have you ever thought about that?
Yes.
Do you think Elvis Presley is going to marry you? Is that what you think?
That's what I know. He can't live without me. He told me.
Baby, 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 come back, baby, I wanna play house with you. Well, you may go to college, or you may go to school, or you may have a pink Cadillac, but don't you be nobody's fool. Now, baby, come back, baby, come. Come back, baby, come. Come back, baby, I wanna play house with you. Now listen to me, baby, what I'm talking about. Come on back to me, little girl, so we can play some house now. Now, baby, now come back, baby, come. Come back, baby, come. Come back, baby, I wanna play house with you. Now this is one thing, baby, that I want you to know. Come on back and let's play a little house and act like we did before. Now, baby, come back, baby, come. Come back, baby, come. Come back, baby,
I was determined no matter what I had to do to get back to Graceland. I lied to my parents. I refused to eat, to go to school, to leave my room. I made their lives miserable. The pain I caused them didn't matter. I had to be with Elvis. If I wasn't, I'd lose him forever.
Priscilla's mother and I are worried. We'll be very far away.
We have very strict standards. Our girls get excellent educations at Our Lady of Mercy.
She'll be living with me and my wife, Dee. We'll watch over her. She'll be one of the family. You have my word.
Well, kiddo, guess this is it. Listen to me. We're gonna miss you, Priscilla. More than I can ever tell you.
You've got a house full of kids. You won't even know I'm gone.
Yeah, a house full of kids. I love them all. But there's only one Priscilla. You were the first. Extra special.
I'm sorry for the way I acted.
No.
I'll make it up to you, I promise. I'll study, and I'll graduate, and I'll make you proud of me.
You're my little girl. You always will be.
I love you, Dad.
I love you.
Here you are, sir.
You heard me, Daddy. I want her at Graceland. Just move her stuff over there, man.
Now, wait a minute here. I just gave my word to her father she'd be staying with us.
What difference does it make? Grandma will be at Graceland watching over her anyway. And she's stricter than you are. Listen, Daddy, I can't talk now, man. I'd appreciate it, though, so just do it, all right?
I don't like this. Not one bit. Here I gave my word to your father that you'd be staying with us.
As you said in the last scene.
Graceland, a long way from home and family. A princess in a castle, only the prince wasn't there. And the castle seemed to be haunted. Haunted by the women who had been there before me. Haunted by the ghost of his mother Gladys. She was there in that attic. I could sense it. I could feel her presence. Gladys Presley. Who was she? What were her dreams? Why was there such sadness in her eyes? What were her fears? What did she know about Elvis that I didn't? I tried to put myself in her place. She liked simple clothing like I did. Were we alike? She was all around me, and I didn't know whether she was my friend or my enemy.
Who's up here? Lord have mercy, child. Still, honey, what are you doing up here? This is no place for you. Where? That is her dress. Give me that quick. She walks up here. She's in this room right now. Besides, Elvis wouldn't want you messing with her things. Honey, Elvis and his mama were awful close. There's nobody on this earth who can fill her shoes. You should have seen him after she passed away. He threw himself on her coffin, calling her satinin. Most pitiful thing you ever laid eyes on. Clutching that pink house coat, the one he gave her, and he said over and over again how he had lived his life for her, and that now everything was gone. Now, this is no place for you, hon. Come on.
Stella, there she is. How'd it go, baby? Oh, goodness. Oh, it's so good to be home. So damn good to be home.
Elvis, tell us about the movie. Oh, what about Aunt Margaret? Is she nice?
And who?
Oh, you remember that time, Me, when you and that little actress went to your dressing room, you made all them funny noises and stuff?
Ooh, baby, 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 ooh, yeah. I remember everybody else said thought we were making out. Yeah.
Do it again, man.
Teach me.
Huh? Teach you what?
I mean, teach me what to do if somebody attacked me or something.
Oh, you mean if a guy grabbed your arm? Like this?
It's almost morning.
Yeah. Guess we better get some sleep. Should I write you a note for school today saying you're going to be sick? Honey, that dress is all wrong for you. It just doesn't do anything for you. It takes away from your eyes and from your face, and all you see is dress. Ask Sam. What do you think, Jerry?
Yeah, I don't know much about dresses.
Elvis, I helped her pick that out. She's been paying for it on layaway for 2 months.
Honey, I didn't mean to say anything to upset you. Just stay away from the large prints. That dress just doesn't look right on you.
Okay, so return the damn stupid, ridiculous, dumb hellhole of a god-awful howdy-doody dress.
For someone that doesn't swear.
It's not funny.
Well, honey, I just can't help it. You look so damn cute standing there in your underwear.
Stop it.
Stop what?
That.
What's that? How's your been? I've been good.
I've been lonely. I'm just on fire. I'm burning up.
Don't get carried away, baby.
I am carried away. Please. Help me. I'm just aching for you.
Let me decide when it should happen.
What about your other girlfriends? You mean you never made love to any of them?
You're special, Priscilla. It's a sacred thing with me. It always has been.
That's how you feel, but what about me? How long can this go on?
There are other things that we can do.
Okay, and that wraps up another episode of the Elvis Nation Show. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Don't forget, we have Thursdays, every Thursday, Elvis Nation Live at 2 o'clock and 7 p.m., both Eastern Standard Time. That way we can get both time zones a chance to relax and enjoy some Elvis Aaron Presley and how sweet it is. All right, thank you very much. Get your piece of the peace and TCB, my friends.